greatest always finish on a high note, or at least that's the last desire for every single NBA player, particularly NBA legends. After all, who would finish his career with a loss? Welcome to B-Ball TV YouTube channel. Today, we've covered some of the most memorable final game performances of some former NBA players with legendary status. There are many GOATs to discuss, so let's get on with it. Michael Jordan. Actually, we're talking about the great Michael Jordan's last game in a Chicago Bulls uniform. He cemented himself as the GOAT after a fantastic performance in Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Finals against the Utah Jazz. The cherry on the cake was Jordan's supernatural game-winning second three-peat clinching shot with merely a few seconds remaining. Technically, we're aware that MJ's last game was with the Wizards in 2003, in a somewhat pedestrian 15-point performance. Nevertheless, if he never went out of retirement for a second time, then indeed, that last game in Utah would have easily been the most extraordinary final game performance in NBA history. Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki played astonishing 21 seasons in the NBA, all of which were with the Dallas Mavericks. Originally German, is one of the last few heroes who prioritized loyalty above anything else. In his last game for the Mavs, Nowitzki logged 20 points, 10 rebounds, a steal, an assist, and a couple of three-pointers. Everything in 31 minutes of action, even though he averaged just 15.6 minutes per game that season. Clearly, Nowitzki wanted to prove that he could handle it all in the final game of his career. One of the most remarkable moments of the evening was Nowitzki ripping up during the pregame tribute video played on the big screen. By the end of the game, when Dirk was sent on the bench after making his 20th point, the whole crowd was cheering him on wildly. Notably, it was an away game for the Mavs that night, with the San Antonio Spurs hosting Nowitzki's final match. Reggie Miller. Of course, earlier, we said that no one wants to end their career on a losing note. Well, Indiana Pacers legend Reggie Miller is an exception. Not saying he wanted to lose, but he had such an astounding performance that he still made it to our video ultimately. Miller's final game came in the 2005 playoffs, the Game 6 of Indiana's second-round matchup versus the Detroit Pistons. Miller did everything he could to will his side to victory, finishing with 27 points on 11 of 16 shooting, plus 4 triples, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. Sadly for him, the Pacers were overwhelmed by the Pistons, and Miller's final game ended in defeat. Nonetheless, he was honored with an unforgettable standing ovation at the end of the contest. DWade. DWade had himself a goodbye tour in his final season in the NBA. This was during the 2018-19 campaign. Needless to say, he had to close out his career with his beloved Miami Heat. Wade actually shocked the basketball world with his consistency throughout the season, averaging an impressive 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 4.2 assists. In his final NBA game, Wade dropped a fantastic 25-point, 11 rebound, and 10 assist triple-double. Even though Miami lost that game to the Brooklyn Nets, there's no doubting that Wade was the star of that evening. Bill Russell. Bill Russell is simply one of the greatest players to have ever donned the Boston Celtics uniform. You might even say that he's the greatest player ever. We won't judge you for that statement. Russell's glorious career came to an end on May 5th, 1969. He scored just 6 points that evening, but he also grabbed 21 boards. What makes his performance so memorable is that it was in Game 7 of the Finals, against no less than Boston's age-old rivals, the Los Angeles Lakers. Russell, who was also the team's playing coach at that time, led his side to a decisive Game 7 victory, a road to a record 11th championship for the legendary Celtics big man. Kobe Bryant. As astonishing as the final games could be, Kobe Bryant's last game for the Lakers might take the best place of them all. On April 13, 2016, the Black Mamba entered the court with a fabulous Kobe Bryant outing, dropping a cool 60 points on his last career game. The 5-time NBA champ really desired to score as much as possible that evening. He made a career-high 50 shots and hit the 60-point mark. Ultimately, the late Black Mamba led the Lakers to a thrilling comeback victory against a formidable Utah Jazz side. Bryant gave a speech to the crowd after the game, and in true Kobe fashion, he dropped the mic at the end, uttering the now immortalized phrase, "Mamba out." Kareem AbdulJabbar. The Los Angeles Lakers have had a surplus of superstars play for the franchise over the years, with each making a lasting mark on the world of professional basketball and the city of Los Angeles. Each has its own place in the history books filled with days that won't soon be forgotten. But this exact day belongs to Kareem AbdulJabbar. It was April 22, 1989, when a marvelous 42-year-old Abdul-Jabbar suited up for the final regular season game of his incredible career. Before the start of the 1988-89 season, Abdul-Jabbar declared that it would be his last. It was his 20th season with the NBA and 14th with the Lakers. Like always, Father Time was catching up to him. His final season became a farewell tour, with derby teams and cities all over the country paying tribute to one of the most dominant players to ever step on the hardwood. The Lakers did their part by presenting him with an oversized rocking chair. Although Abdul-Jabbar was slowing down, it was still remarkable that he played at a high level into his 40s. He rarely missed games due to injury. This excellent health provided him with the opportunity to set a scoring record that many feel may never be broken. Throughout his career, Abdul-Jabbar scored 38,387 points, more than anyone before him or since. While he had various moves in his arsenal, he became known for his skyhook, a nearly unstoppable shot. With the final playoff run and then retirement setting, Abdul-Jabbar suited up for the regular season's last game against the Seattle Supersonics. The Lakers were now definitely Magic Johnson's team. However, Abdul-Jabbar still played 26 minutes and scored 10 points while grabbing 6 rebounds. From there, Abdul-Jabbar and the Lakers set off on one final playoff run that would take them all the way to the NBA Finals. Magic Johnson. It was May 2, 1996, when LA Lakers star and Hall of Famer Magic Johnson performed the final NBA game of his storied career. But it wasn't at the home forum in Inglewood. Instead, it was in a loss to the two-time defending NBA champion Rockets at the Summit in Houston. The Rockets won Game 4, 102-94, and secured the best-of-5 series, 3 games to 1. Though the Lakers were the West's number 4 seed and had a home court advantage over the number 5 Rockets, Rudy Tomjanovic's squad again came up battling in the playoffs. Kareem AbdulJabbar drove the Rockets with 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. In comparison, Kenny Smith and Robert Horry scored 17 points with a mixed 7 three-pointers between them. The Lakers were protected by 25 points and 12 rebounds from Cedric Ceballos. Johnson earned 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in 30 minutes in his career finale, though he shot just 2 of 8 from the field. Following 2 weeks, Johnson made his resignation official. Before the 1995-96 season, Johnson had not played in the NBA after testing positive for HIV just before the 1991-92 season. "I'm going out on my terms, and I couldn't say that when I boarded a comeback in 1992, Johnson declared in his announcement. Though he was 36 years old and coming off a 4-year layoff, Johnson was still effective in his final season. He averaged 14.6 points, 6.9 assists, and 5.7 rebounds in 29.9 minutes per game. That May 2nd, 1996 game was Houston's final victory that season, since they were swept by eventual West champion Seattle in the second round. Well, whose story was the most inspiring? Who else from NBA retiring legends comes to your mind? And how do you like our video? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss an upload, and you can enjoy the excellent content we send your way.